Ever experienced one of those moments where your mind just screams, "No way, this cannot be real"? That was precisely what hit me the instant I walked outside and discovered my truck door swinging wide open. Documents scattered across the driveway like confetti, and the glove compartment hung loosely, torn apart like someone had attacked it with a pry bar. But the real shocker, standing right there, brazen as could be, was Karen's teenage son, clutching my stuff, smiling like he'd just claimed a prize at the fair. "What the heck are you doing?" I shouted. He simply shrugged, calm as anything. "It's okay. HOA approved." Those two words, HOA approved, struck me like a blindside hit. When exactly did the homeowners association start giving teenagers permission to loot someone's vehicle? Initially, I figured he had to be kidding, but no. This kid's face was completely serious. I marched down the front steps and he instantly dropped everything. Documents, my flashlight, even a small toolkit, all crashing onto the driveway. I grabbed his arm before he could bolt. That's when she showed up. Karen, our neighborhood's self-appointed royalty, charging around the corner like she was about to apprehend a thief. "Release my son," she screamed, stomping toward me with fury in her gaze. "He has complete authority to be there. We covered this at the HOA meeting." I stared. Covered what exactly? Her kid pillaging my truck. Karen flung her arms up theatrically. "You park your vehicle in a community driveway, right? That makes it fall under HOA control. And my son," she actually beamed at him, proud as punch, "was performing a safety check." I gazed at her in amazement. Safety check. The kid had a pry bar sticking out of his back pocket, and she was presenting it like he was performing community service. "Ma'am," I said bluntly, "this isn't going to work. Your son just committed a crime." She cackled in my face. "Oh, come on. You believe the cops are going to worry about an HOA-authorized inspection?" Right then, I understood this wasn't going to conclude with a simple sorry or payment for repairs. This was Karen. This was her son. And this was about to explode into something much larger than a destroyed glove compartment. Because here's what she didn't realize. I had evidence. The moment she pulled out that ridiculous HOA-approved excuse, I knew I was dealing with a whole different level of insanity. Most people caught red-handed at least act embarrassed. Not Karen. She marched up like she was the neighborhood president and this was some official operation. Her son, meanwhile, kept shifting nervously, trying to conceal the pry bar, but she just rubbed his arm. "Don't stress, sweetie. He can't touch us. The HOA protects us." Here's the part she obviously hadn't planned for. I had security cameras, not just the basic doorbell cam everyone owns, but a complete surveillance system I'd set up after a series of package thefts. And one of those cameras had a perfect crystal clear angle of my driveway. Every single moment of her son forcing open the lock and rifling through my truck had been captured. I grabbed my phone, opened the live stream, and displayed the screen to her. Seems to me like the HOA just authorized a burglary, right? For a brief moment, her face turned crimson, but she bounced back quickly. "You cannot use that," she declared. "It's violating privacy." I chuckled. "Privacy? Your son's breaking into my truck. That's not privacy. That's criminal activity." She crossed her arms over her chest, grinning like she'd just defeated me. "Actually," she said arrogantly, "our HOA regulations give us permission to conduct community safety checks, and since your truck is viewable from the road, that automatically includes it in the neighborhood watch system." The mental contortions it took to spin that statement should have won her an Olympic medal. But I wasn't about to waste time debating details with a woman who lived and breathed privilege. So instead, I stopped her cold. "Fine, then clarify it to the police." That erased the grin completely from her face. She attempted to laugh it off. "Oh, don't be silly. You're not really calling them." But what she didn't realize was that I'd already pressed dial. While we waited, Karen kept walking back and forth like a trapped animal, grumbling to herself, accusing me of overreacting, insisting her son was just being nosy, claiming I was making a harmless situation way too big a deal. Her son, clearly freaking out, finally murmured, "Mom, let's just leave." But she snapped at him, demanding he stay right there. Karen was prepared to go to war with her imaginary HOA protection. That's when it dawned on me. She wasn't scared of the police. She genuinely believed they'd support her. The growing wail of sirens made her son jump, but Karen only stood straighter, crossing her arms tighter like she'd been waiting for her moment in the spotlight. If she'd owned a tiara, I swear she would have straightened it before. The squad cars pulled up. 2 patrol vehicles stopped directly in front of my driveway, and out stepped Officers Daniels and Ruiz, both recognizable faces thanks to previous HOA disputes. They knew me. They knew Karen, and judging by their reactions as they surveyed the open truck, the scattered tools, and the shaking teenager gripping a pry bar, they already had a clear picture of what had happened. "All right," Officer Daniels said in his calm voice. "Who wants to clarify this situation?" I raised my hand. "That kid," I pointed at Karen's son, "broke into my truck with a pry bar. It's all recorded." Karen immediately pushed her son behind her like a human shield. "That's false. My son was conducting an HOA-authorized safety check. He has full permission from the association to inspect for hazardous items." Daniels lifted an eyebrow. "Hazardous items in a pickup truck?" "Absolutely," Karen replied as if the officer should be grateful. "You'd be amazed at how many people keep dangerous equipment. My son was doing his community service." Officer Ruiz glanced at me, trying not to smirk. "Do you have evidence?" Without hesitation, I lifted my phone and displayed the video. Clear as crystal, it showed her son jimmying the lock, searching inside, and that pry bar glinting under the porch light. Ruiz groaned. "Yeah, that's breaking and entering." Karen went ballistic. "That's illegal spying. He cannot film us without consent. HOA regulations." "Ma'am, stop." Daniels interrupted her, his tone serious. "Security cameras on private property are perfectly legal, and this video gives us sufficient cause for an arrest." Her son finally broke down, his voice trembling. "Mom, I warned you this was a terrible idea." Karen whirled on him like a viper. "Don't you dare betray me." I said it was acceptable. The officers shared a knowing glance. Ruiz pulled out his handcuffs. Karen screamed, "You cannot do this. He's underage." "Yes, ma'am," Daniels said quietly, "which means he'll be facing juvenile charges unless this isn't his first offense." Karen's face went pale, and that's when it clicked for me. This wasn't his first offense. Before Karen could even come up with another excuse, her son confessed, terrified. "Mom, they're going to discover everything anyway." The quiet after that felt heavier than the sirens. Daniels cocked his head. "Discover what?" Karen tried to silence him, but her son revealed everything. It turns out these inspections weren't recent. Karen had been dispatching him throughout the neighborhood for weeks, investigating garages, storage sheds, even people's vehicles. She had persuaded him it was part of their HOA safety program. But in reality, she was being nosy, and multiple times he'd taken things. Tools, phone chargers, even a neighbor's wallet. My mouth dropped open. This wasn't just a foolish teenager being careless. This was an entire scheme, and Karen was the mastermind. Officer Ruiz asked directly, "Ma'am, is this accurate?" Karen threw up her hands. "Oh, please, these are just youthful errors. You cannot blame him for that. The HOA will support us." But Daniels shook his head. "Ma'am, we don't report to HOAs. We report to the law, and the law states your son has committed multiple counts of breaking and entering, burglary, and theft." Her son started sobbing. Understanding what felonies meant, Karen tried to protect him, pulling him into her embrace, but Ruiz gently intervened, handcuffing him. "He's coming with us. Juvenile court will handle it from here," Ruiz said. Karen's voice broke into a shriek. "This is persecution. You're just taking his side because he's aggressive." She pointed her finger at me, eyes crazed. Daniel's voice dropped low, stern enough to silence her immediately. "Enough. You've put your son in danger by encouraging this conduct. Interfere again and you'll be facing charges as well." And just like that, it was finished. They handcuffed her son, read him his rights, and escorted him into the back of the patrol car. Karen stood motionless in my driveway, shaking with anger, but completely helpless. For once, her self-declared HOA authority meant absolutely nothing. As the tail lights vanished into the darkness, I finally exhaled a breath I hadn't known I was holding. The neighborhood had put up with Karen for years. Her bogus rules, her grievances, her endless power plays. But now she'd gone too far. And thanks to her own pride, her kid was facing charges that no HOA justification in the world could eliminate. Sometimes entitlement destroys itself under its own weight. And that night, I witnessed Karen's entire kingdom fall apart. If you love this story, hit that like button and tell me what you would have done in my situation. And don't forget to subscribe for more incredible HOA Karen stories, because every week we deliver you real-life drama that will leave you amazed.